Steve, we've been watching what's been happening in this industry for the last couple of years. It's been a tough time for everybody economically, and it's been particularly tough for aviation. However, for somebody on the financial side, if anybody's going to see any signs of hope or discouragement, it's going to be you folks, because ultimately when people decide to spend money, you're one of the first calls somebody's going to make when they get ready to get into another airplane. What's happening out there? What's been your experience?
Well, Jim, you're absolutely right. For the last couple of years, the industry's been in a decline. What we're seeing now, we're seeing an uptick in activity that we haven't seen for the last 2 years. The last month to 2 months, we've seen a lot more interest in people applying for loans, buying equipment, and we look at it very encouraging. We've noticed that the prices of aircraft have stabilized. They've been stabilizing. We actually see in some areas the prices are starting to trend back upwards. The other thing, we follow not only new aircraft, we follow the used aircraft market, and we're starting to see some of the used aircraft market in general starting to decline. In other words, there's fewer aircraft available. It's still higher than what we'd like to see it, but it's starting to decline, which really means that the used aircraft, good used aircraft, are being taken off the market, being acquired. So.
Now, you indicated that this is the first positive trend you've seen in the last couple of years. Is this something that's happened over a course of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and how do you think it's going to trend from here?
Well, the first thing we saw was the stabilization of the market. That's been probably the last 5 or 6 months. We see it stabilizing. Prices are stable. We're seeing more buyers come out. For a while, for the last couple of years, we've seen some of the buyers that have gone through the application process, we've actually seen fewer of those actually close. Even though they're approved, they're waiting, they're just sitting on the fence. We're now seeing those people get off of the fence, and we're seeing them now actually acquire aircraft. The other thing we're seeing is we're seeing higher quality applicants. So they've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Generally, I look at that very positively, because we're seeing these are the people that have been watching it. They have the money to do it, and now they're starting to pull the trigger.
The beauty of the Release 9 system architecture is that you have 2 fully redundant integrated flight displays. Each has access to all the systems and data. Providing full redundancy and eliminating traditional reversionary modes, Release 9 allows either display to be configured as the PFD. Now your failure modes are much more manageable, because you can continue to fly with the same familiar display symbology without the need to relearn composite modes you don't typically fly with. Avidyne's Integra Release 9 is truly the next generation in fully integrated flight deck technology.
Now, one of the things that has to be noted here, as a matter of fact, it's an item we were talking about earlier. I'm flying a King Air back from here for a friend of mine who just picked up the bargain B90 of bargains. It's a great deal, and he's going to put some time and money into it to refit it the way he wants it and so forth. But there are some deals to be had out there, and if you're in a position, now would be a really good time. What advice do you give to somebody who sees this market and wants to take advantage while there's an opportunity?
Well, I think this is the perfect time. Personally, I think the market's bottomed out. There are some great deals out there. Good aircraft are being snapped up. From our side, financing is low as it's ever been. I mean, as far as rates and terms are there. So, and we have lenders who are interested in lending money. So, this is a great time, I think. Certainly, if you're looking for an airplane, this is the right time, in my view.
Well, that's one thing that you just said that really got my attention, because for a while, especially as this was really getting into the worst aspects of this particular dilemma, was the fact there wasn't money for airplanes. It was very tough to find money, and you indicate there's money out there.
Absolutely, and there's definitely money out there. What we've seen in the last couple of years is a lot of just the lenders in general have taken a hit across the board. So now what we're seeing is the lenders that are out there that are still playing, they have the money and they're willing to move forward. And to a very large extent, I think it's because the portfolios have held out so well compared to anything else in the bank. So whether it's cars or homes, boats, RVs, whatever, aviation, aircraft have held up very, very well. So that's why the appetite's there.
Now, is there any advice you might give to somebody who's been watching this for a while and been a little timid, that they manage their portfolio, they seem to be doing okay, that things on their side seems to be reasonably stable, but what advice do you give to somebody who would like to pull the trigger now and finally get what they want?
Well, like we said before, Jim, I think this is the right time, because the stabilization's been there for about 6 months. Prices we're seeing, they're not falling off. There's some great prices out there, as you've indicated yourself. And so I think that from buying an aircraft pricing, this is the right time to do it. No one can predict the future, but from what we've seen over the last couple of years, this is a great time. Financing's at a great time to do financing. I mean, you're in the mid 5% for 20 years, and it's just a great time to do everything. So, I'm hoping that this is the turnaround.
Freedom through control. Cirrus has completely reinvented the personal aircraft and the entire experience of owning a personal aircraft. It's a bold new take on private aviation that we call Cirrus Flying 2.0. You set the schedule. You chart the course. You're in control.
How is this going to change our market from here on out? I mean, we've gone through a real trial by fire here. Do you see what we've gone through over the last couple of years, and recovery permitting, do you see that changing the market or the way that we're going to be interfacing with our financial partners when we go in to buy airplanes?
I don't really think so. I don't think it will change. Certainly us and others who are still in the market, we understand the market. We understand that over the last couple of years has been unusual, but it's nothing new. It's happened. So I don't see anything changing. I see as time goes on, it will. I won't say the standards will get looser. I think there'll be more structures or creative structures in the future. But it's the lending. The money's always been there. The basics are always there. We're still going out 20 years. One of the things that's different, the down payment, it used to be 10% minimum. Now it's more like 15% minimum. It's not that 10% is not available, it's just that lenders like to see 15%. So, but generally, through our history, our average portfolio on down payments were over 20% any rate. So the average guy is putting about 22% down at any rate. So that's 10 or 15% doesn't really stop anybody who's serious about buying an airplane. And that's really the only change that I would say has really happened.
Well, I hope the positive trend continues, and we'll check in with you down the line and see how that's going on. And more important, if it keeps on trending positive, and especially from a standpoint of our business, we may have to talk to you when we're ready to make the jump to our Meridian.
We'll be here.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks so much.
Thank you.